What if betrayal takes more than time to get over? What if there's a path to do so? If you're curious about the answer to those questions, you're in the right place. My name's Tim Winnicky, and in this clip from American Masculinity, Dr. Debi takes us through her 5-step process for recovering from betrayal. As you watch, think about where you might be in your process on a betrayal. I'll see you at the end.
If we're going to fully heal, and by fully heal, I mean those symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome that I just shared, to that completely rebuilt place where you rebuild your life and yourself, called post-betrayal transformation, we will move through 5 proven, predictable stages. And what's even more exciting about that is we now know what happens physically, mentally, and emotionally at every stage. And we know what we need to do in order to move from one stage to the next. Healing's entirely predictable. So this is all we do within the PBT Institute. It's what I certify all of our coaches and practitioners in. I'm going to give you a boiled down version. So stage 1 is before it happens. And if you can imagine 4 legs of a table, the 4 legs being physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, what I saw with everybody, me too, was a heavy lean on the physical and the mental thinking and doing, and kind of neglecting or ignoring the emotional and the spiritual, feeling and being. Well, if a table only has 2 legs, it's going to be easy for that table to topple over. That's us. That's not to say if you're neglecting your emotional and your spiritual, you will be betrayed. It was just a typical profile that I saw. Stage 2, shock, trauma, D-Day, discovery day. This is the breakdown of the body, the mind, and the worldview. Right here, we've ignited the stress response. We're now headed for every single stress-related symptom, illness, condition, disease. Our mind is in a complete state of chaos and overwhelm. We cannot wrap our mind around what we've just discovered. This makes no sense. And our worldview has just been shattered. Our worldview is our mental model, the rules that govern us, that prevent chaos. Trust this person. Don't go here. These are the rules. This is how life works. And in one earth-shattering moment, or series of moments, every rule we've been following is no longer true. The bottom has bottomed out, and a new bottom hasn't been formed yet. So this is terrifying. But think about it. If the bottom were to bottom out on us, what would we do? We'd grab hold of anything or anyone in order to stay safe and stay alive. That's stage 3. Survival instincts emerge. This is the most practical out of all of the stages. If you can't help me, get out of my way. How can I survive this? Where can I go? Who can I trust? Here's the trap, though. Stage 3, by far, hands down, is the most common place we get stuck. And here's why. Once we've figured out how to survive our experience, because it feels so much better than the shock and trauma we just came from, we think it's good. And because we don't know there's anywhere else to go, we don't know there's a stage 4 or stage 5, transformation doesn't even begin until stage 4. But because we don't know there's anywhere else to go, we try to find a way to make this work. So we plant roots here. We're not supposed to. The first thing is we start getting all of those small self benefits, secondary gain. We get to be right. We get our story. We love our story. I'm sure people come to you with the most well-rehearsed stories. They can't wait to share. We get sympathy from everyone we share our story with. And on some level, we're so unhappy and we're not getting much else. So we take it. So we plant deeper roots. And now, because we're here longer than we should be, the mind starts doing things like, maybe you're not that great. Maybe you deserved it. Maybe this, maybe that. So we plant deeper roots. And now, because these are the thoughts we're thinking, well, this is the energy we start putting out. Like energy attracts like energy. So now we start calling in circumstances and situations and even new relationships to confirm this is where we belong. Here's where we will seek out someone who will confirm and validate. And so we sort of get some relief, but we're not moving forward. Here's where we join some lame support group. And now we're commiserating with others. We found our people. We sabotage ourselves because we found our group. Here's where we may be healing. We actually will sabotage our healing because we're afraid to outgrow the betrayer who has no intention of changing, if that's who they are. It gets worse, but I'll get you out of here. Because it feels so bad, but we don't know there's anywhere else to go, we're like, I have to get through my day. So right here, we start numbing, avoiding, distracting. So now we use food, drugs, alcohol, whatever, to numb, avoid, distract. So we do it for a day, a week, a month, a year. And I can see someone 20 years later and say, hey, that drinking, do you think that has anything to do with your betrayal? And they'd look at me like I'm crazy. They'd say it happened 20 years ago. All they did was lock themselves in stage 3 and stay there. Does that make sense?
It really does. It's something that I've noticed in practice consistently. And I think there's good finding on it with like the drama triangle and different kind of trauma modalities, is we will always pick knowing what happens next, even if it hurts, than the hope of change. If we don't have a model, if we don't have somebody to guide us up those stairs and say it's going to be okay, we will pick what we know is coming every time.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because if people knew what was waiting for them in stages 4 and 5, and I'd love to get you out of stage 3, if they knew what was waiting for them in stages 4 and 5, they wouldn't waste a minute in stage 3. But it's the known familiar. And the longer they're there, the worse it gets, because now all they're doing is managing symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome. They're having repeat betrayals, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And they're living this stage 3 life, attracting stage 3 people and thinking, is it them? And, and constantly questioning everything. Their self-esteem has plummeted. They haven't rebuilt the self. It's a mess to stay in stage 3. Anyway, if you're willingness is a big word right here, to grieve, mourn the loss, a bunch of things you need to do, you move to stage 4. Stage 4 is finding and adjusting to a new normal. So here's where you acknowledge, I can't undo what happened, but I control what I do with it. Just in that decision, you're turning down the stress response. You're not healing just yet, but at least you stopped the massive damage that was going on in stages 2 and stage 3. Stage 4 feels like if you've ever moved. If you've ever moved to a new house, office, whatever, your stuff's not there. It's not quite cozy yet, but it's this sort of hopeful excitement. Feels like that. But think about it. If you were to move, you don't take everything with you. You don't take those things that don't represent who you're now ready to become. And what I found was there's this one spot as people go from stage 3 to stage 4, like that lame support group. Nope, it's not coming along. Those friends who weren't there for you. Nope, not coming along. That betrayer who's not changing, you're done. And people ask me all the time, they're like, what the heck? These people have been in my life, 20 years. Is it neat? Yes, it is. You're undergoing a transformation. If they don't rise, they don't come. Anyway, when you've settled into this space, you've made it cozy, you've made it sort of mentally home, you move into the 5th most beautiful stage. And this is healing, rebirth, and a new worldview. The body starts to heal, self-love, self-care. The mind is healing. You're making all kinds of new rules, new boundaries based on the road you just traveled. And you have a new worldview based on everything you see so clearly now. And the 4 legs of that table, in the beginning, it was just all about the physical and the mental. By this point, we're solidly grounded because we're focused on the emotional and the spiritual too. Those are the 5 stages.
And that's our conversation with Dr. Debi. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you can, leave a comment. Let us know what stage in the recovery process you're in. So that way, other people might feel normalized in where they're at. We'll see you next time.